Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana.
Jamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Shishi Radha Madhava Astasaki Ki Jai.
Jaya.
Chaitanya Chandaraya Mandir Ki Jai.
Jaya.
Can you make us the presenter?
I can.
Can you make me a Brijbasi?
That I don't have the power.
You do. By the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. Okay. Okay, we did it.
Yes. Now we see your desktop.
Okay. With Radharani talking to a bumblebee.
Yes.
Okay, now I want to go over here. I have many PowerPoint shows today, and this is the first one. It took me 3.5 hours to do all these PowerPoint shows. Anyway, otherwise I would have been thinking about fasting until noon. So life is good. So Srimad Bhagavatam, with elaborate commentaries and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Text 33.32.20, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Dakshinena pataryam naha.
Dakshinina patar yamana.
Dakshinena pataryam naha.
Dakshinina pataryamna.
Pitṛlokam vrajanti te.
Pitṛlokam vrajanti te.
Prajamanu prajayante.
Prajamanu prajayante.
Smashananta kriya kritaha.
Smashananta kriya kritaha.
Boliye.
Jai Jagadish, are you there? Okay. Dakshinena pataryamna.
Dakshinena pataryamna.
Pitṛlokam vrajanti te.
Pitṛlokam vrajanti te.
Prajamanu prajayante.
Prajamanu prajayante.
Mashyanta kriya kritaha.
Shmashananta kriya kritaha. Is there anyone else? Okay. Dakshinena pataryamna.
Dakshina pataryamna.
Pitṛlokam vrajanti te.
Pitṛlokam prajanti te.
Prajamanu prajayante.
Prajamanu prajayante.
Shmashananta kriya kritaha.
Mashananta kriya kritaha. No one else?
Dakshinena pataryamna.
Dakshinena pataryamna.
Pitṛlokam vrayanti te.
Pitṛlokam vrajanti te.
Prayam anu prajayante.
Prajam anu prajayante.
Smashananta kriya kritaha.
Smashananta kriya kritaha.
Dakshinena prathayamna.
Dakshinena pataryamna.
Pitṛlokam vrajanti te.
Pitṛlokam vrajanti te.
Prajam anu prajayante.
Prajam anu prajayante.
Smashananta kriya kritaha.
Smashananta kriya kritaha.
Dakshinena prathayamna.
Dakshinena pataryamna.
Pitṛlokam vrajanti te.
Pitṛlokam vrajanti te.
Prajam anu prajayante.
Prajam anu prajayante.
Smashananta kriya kritaha.
Smashananta kriya kritaha.
Dakshinena.
Dakshinena.
Southern.
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 It looks like Daksha is Dakshin. Dakshin is south, I think. And Dakshinena means southern. Yeah, it's a similar Sanskrit grammar. Pata.
Pata.
Yeah. By the path.
By the path.
Arya Namaha.
Arya
Namaha.
Of the sun.
Of the sun.
Of the sun.
Pitṛlokam.
Pitṛlokam.
To Pitṛloka.
Pitṛloka.
Vrajanti.
Vrajanti.
Go.
Go.
Te.
Te.
They.
They.
Prajam.
Prajam.
Oh, I didn't see the A. Didn't see the long A there. Prajam.
Prajam.
Their families.
Their families.
Anu.
Anu.
Along with.
Along with.
Prajayante.
Prajayante.
They take birth.
They take birth.
Shmashana.
Shmashana.
The crematorium.
The crematorium. Anta.
To the end.
To the end.
Kriya.
Kriya.
Fruitive activities.
Fruitive activities.
Kritaha.
Performing.
You know what, Maharaj? I think I should
Yes?
mute everybody because there's just too much noise here. Is that all right?
It may be from me, so let's see what happens.
I don't think so. But anyway, here goes. Okay, I've unmuted you.
Is there still noise?
No, just transcendental
Okay.
sound coming from your lotus.
I have the air conditioner on here. Dakshinena pataryamnaha Pitṛlokam vrajanti te prajam anu prajayante shmashanantam kriyakritam. In translation, such materialistic persons are allowed to go to the Pitṛloka, to the planet called Pitṛloka, by the southern course of the sun. But they again come back to this planet and take birth in their own families, beginning again the same fruitive activities from birth to the end of life. So, of course, this is a whole section here where Lord Kapila Dev is describing, and I keep being so enthusiastic, is 5 chapters or whatever it is, make a very nice, separate book. It's almost half the Bhagavatam or something, half the 3rd canto, maybe like what, 1/5, 20% of the 3rd canto. But again, separate little book. He describes very nice. He doesn't describe just like kind of a dry technical thing of the elements progressing one to the other, but he gets to the real nitty-gritty of what is life. We're all going to go through these phases. Even cockroaches probably have their go through puberty or something, and grow up and this kind of stuff, and then get old, So these kind of things are very universal, and this is the material world, and these are the kind of things we have to rely on and deal with, look at, And then if we have any kind of transcendental knowledge, we can use these things as impetus to push us, So he gives very, very wonderful description, and here he's describing people who are much more elevated than us, but not completely, because we find that even on this world, we're talking about this, that there are African societies that very much are into Pitri worship, and of course China, other places too, very much, And then there are also Mormons in the Western countries here, again, very technical, looks like even accomplishing what we're talking about, And they even talk about this, that happiness is, some of the names of African people mean, happiness has taken birth amongst us again. And they talk about people in the same family. And we're also talking about this, as far as we understand, it's common that you keep very distinct recollections, memories, portraits of like the last 5 generations. So we're talking about Prabhupada, Prabhupada's point of view, Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Gaur Kishoras Babaji, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and Jagannath Das Babaji. And that's what we have on our altar too. And then it goes into the general Vanchakalpa. So if you're in Oriental culture, there may be like a big urn. And so maybe if it's a portrait or something, you burn the portrait, and all the ashes go into the urn of the family thing. And of course, the big thing is to destroy your enemy's family urn, just pour it into the sewer water or something. So these things are actually happening even now, and maybe we'll deviate from Krishna consciousness. I know people who were big leaders in Krishna consciousness, but maybe too much passion, so they became Mormons and they stuck with it. They'd be 5 years as devotees, and they've been 35 years as Mormons, And maybe then generating gradually that my Krishna consciousness is probably, I don't really understand that, okay. And then really the thing is, Jehovah's Witnesses are Mormons. And so then we see the same things are happening. Such materialistic persons are allowed to go to the planet called Pitṛloka by the southern course of the sun. That's the pathway how you get there. But they again come back to this planet and take birth in their own families, beginning again the same fruitive activities from birth to the end of life. So these different austerities and kinds of austerities, and here is talking about the southern course of the sun. And I guess even in India, in places like that, it's not as heavy as the northern course. Because when you're above the equator, the northern course has its own nature. And when you're above the equator, the southern course is more, it's like that. It's like material enjoyment, fruitive activities. We're seeing that in places like Peru, that people are developing mystical powers and all these kind of things, but for very much for enjoyment, which leads a lot of times to certain kinds of conflict. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, verse 21, it is stated that such persons are elevated to the higher planetary systems. As soon as their lives of fruitive activity are finished, they return to this planet, and thus they go up and come down. So we have picked out a little graphic here, and we have a yo-yo. Here we have. Some people even talk about themselves as being participating in the bhakti yo-yo. good devotees, bad devotees, good devotees, bad devotees. But when your karma is finished off, kshine punya martya loka vishanti. So it's like that. It's like an unintelligent child, on a merry-go-round, Prabhupada says, or somebody unintelligent child could be playing his yo-yo. What are you getting out of this? Where are you going? Those who are elevated to the higher planets again come back into the same family for which they had too much attachment. They are born, and the fruitive activities continue again until the end of life. And so for fruitive activities, here we have some very colored, bright, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, remembering him today, and he said, what does he say? He says, the dazzling, deadly liquid forms. How to start off, Alas for those who spend their lives. Alas for those who spend their days in dazzling, deadly liquid forms, their hearts for air employ. So here, it's not as dazzling and deadly and liquid as the liquor store. I mean, liquor stores, if you actually kind of look at them, especially in the shopping in the airport, they're not as bad as, the Vietnamese discount cigarette and liquor store. It's the lowest possible level of legal existence is, some kind of immigrant squeezing in and opening a discount cigarette store and a discount liquor store. Abominable, But you go to the shopping malls in the airport, and there they have incredible, the bottles and stuff are just incredible, the different colors and the wrapping and the packages and the size, and it's incredible, But if you take away everything but the alcohol, you're going to get 80 proof, you're going to get 40% alcohol, and that's the active ingredient. It's clear, it's the same thing, it's nasty. But it doesn't have to be so gross, and here we get the other stuff, caramel candy, caramel corn candy, And it's the same thing. We're going through our lives, burning our lives out, whether we're addicted to sugar or we're addicted to alcohol. There are different prescribed rituals from birth until the end of life, and they are very much attached to such activities. Okay, so you got a graphic here of people going through their rituals. Even our society, what is it? You have to go register for the draft if you're a boy. You have to. What else you got? Then you get married. Still, people do that mostly, although it doesn't always work out. Usually, it doesn't work out. And you go through the divorce. What else? Okay, prescribed rituals. And then you get a job, and you got to register, get your Social Security number. And it goes on like that. So they do these things over and over again. It's the same things, and people in a certain consciousness, they actually make big parties out of them, like we're seeing weddings and everything else, and I think that something's actually happening. Okay, then the next verse. Tataste kshina sukritaha punarlokam imang sati patanti vivasha devai sadyo vibrang sito dayaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they fall down by higher arrangement and again come back to this planet. Just as any person raised to a high position sometimes all of a sudden falls. And it's like Disneyland. We get a taste of Pitṛloka there. You don't have to work. Actually, you can't work. You can't, like Disneyland, nice analogy. You can't make money when you're in Disneyland. You bring your money with you, and you keep investing more and buying more tickets and, whatever you want to do, But you can't. There's no opportunity to make more money. Maybe you stay there for several days even. They have hotels affiliated with the place. We were there with our Manipuri program, and we went on the boat tour in Orlando. And they're talking about that they had hotels they built, to accommodate the people who would come from foreign countries to stay there. And they were saying they tried to build like moderate class places so people with like lower income could come, but nobody wanted those. Everybody wanted the high class hotels and stuff. Of course, there's no chance to make money there, pretty much, I guess, on your cell phone or something. So you go to Pitṛloka and you enjoy all these artificial things and colors and stimulations, and you become this and you become that, and you play and imagine who you are, When I was in college, one guy said one of his friends had gone to Disneyland in Southern California on LSD. And he was okay, I'll go to Disneyland on LSD. And he said after some time there, he looked around and he kept looking around, and he said he didn't see a single person who was smiling. Everybody was like, doing the work. I'm having fun, So ultimately, the same thing as Pitṛloka. It doesn't really touch you deeply. You're officially enjoying. Your mind is telling you, yes, now we're enjoying. Okay, but you're not. And if your ancestors, not your ancestors, but your descendants, are doing sacrifices for you, then they're sending you money. I guess you can do that in Disneyland. There's like some place where you can receive and get money wired or transferred. So then you can stay there. But if not, I guess then maybe within 5 generations you finished it off. Prabhupada says, it is sometimes found that a person elevated to a very high position in government service falls down all of a sudden, and no one can check him. Similarly, after finishing their period of enjoyment, foolish persons who are very much interested in being elevated to the position of president in higher planets also fall down to this planet. Actually, I saw a documentary about the final days of Hitler, and of course he was such an absolute monarch. Within modern times, what is it? The Emperor of Japan, was it Hirohito? He didn't have that much power. He was very constrained by his position, and probably would have been an assassination if he pushed it too much. So he stayed within his position. And as long as he was within the position, that position, he had absolute authority. But then there was Tojo and people like that who were the actual military commanders and so on, and generating things. But Hitler was in such a position that within modern times, considering the extent of his power and the depth of it, there's really nobody to match him. But then when they said the whole thing about him in the final days, and the Allied forces are closing in, and last guy is holding out, and this and that, and he was in a bunker underneath. I guess it was the Parliament stuff, and the few last people were there. And like his chauffeur, there was there, and other people, and they were the people from whom the information was received. So finally, when the very final things were happening, he apparently secluded himself in a room with Ava Braun. He married her at the very end. Her biography is also interesting. He actually married her. It's interesting. And then they took poison, and his body was taken outside and burned. And so this is the play, and buried. And I guess it was never possible to really dig up his remnants. So this is apparently where is apparently Hitler's tomb, as far as he can identify. It's now a parking lot for a kind of lower income, housing complex. So Hitler doesn't get people coming thinking high things about him. He was Adolf Hitler, and now he's that unknown soul, kind of shuffling around in a parking lot where people come and go, and passing in and out, Okay. The distinction between the elevated position of a devotee and that of an ordinary person attracted to fruitive activities is that when a devotee is elevated to the spiritual kingdom, he never falls down, whereas an ordinary person falls even if he is elevated to the highest planetary system, Brahmaloka. And of course, it's talking about earlier about how Brahma can be elevated, but because he still has a little passion about thinking himself independent, I can do this and that, even though he's liberated to the position of Mahavishnu Loka, he still is drawn back again. So there we understand there are some people then who can come to Mahavishnu Loka and stay there. They actually get free from their separatist desires, and they're there in the point of Shantaras, eternally. Yeah. Hallelujah. Allah Akbar. Yeah. Okay. Of course, Bhaktivinoda Thakur today is his day, and he's a devotee, but he's not somebody who's elevated by his pious activities, as we understand, but actually an avatar who's coming down like that. That's a nice picture. It's so common. We see the acharyas, and maybe we should follow the example, except the example is that one hand in the bead bag, one hand on the books, and left hand on the books. It's interesting, too. I wonder which books he picked out. Looks like he got maybe 3 or 4 of them there. Maybe that could be actually the entire Srimad Bhagavatam without commentaries. And it could also be Chaitanya Charitamrita without commentaries. Yeah. And he also has something Prabhupada didn't institute for us. The Kantimala, the neck beads were strict, but the beads hanging around the neck weren't strict. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Abrahama Bhuvanal Loka. Abrahama Bhuvanal Lokaha. That even if one is elevated to a higher planet, he has to come down again. Has to. But Krishna confirms in Bhagavad Gita 8:16. Mamupetya tu konteya punar jamana vidyate. Anyone who attains my abode never comes back to this condition of life of material existence. Okay. So, that's that PowerPoint show. And what should we do, Ramananda? Should we discuss this a little bit here? And before we go on to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, maybe anybody has any kind of comments or thoughts here?
I have something, Maharaj.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, very well. Hello, good morning, good afternoon. I guess good morning for you. Yeah, okay.
Right. Okay, so you didn't say much about what you just read, so I just thought I'd chime in. For the 5th and 6th time in 3rd Canto Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says, when a devotee is elevated to the spiritual kingdom, he never falls down, and then quotes Krishna's promise in 8:16, which basically says the same thing. One who attains my abode never comes back. So how do you adjust that?
I knew it would come up, and I knew you would bring it up. So I'm ready for you. Push the button. Okay.
It's Prabhupada. We're dealing with
I agree. It's a big topic, and it's an important topic. But to me, it's a big topic. That's the whole thing, and it's a whole separate thing. It's a nice topic. So my perspective on it, after I personally have considered all the different things I've heard about it, is that we have free will, and we don't. Because when it's talking about not coming back, it's always talking about being pushed by karma. Okay, so I think that's my understanding now. Again, I'm not God or anything else, So when it's talking about that we're not being pushed by karma to come back. Okay, and if you look in Nectar of Instruction 3, first instructions for neophyte devotees, Prabhupada says, as soon as anyone becomes envious, he falls from the Paramahamsa platform. So that's what I understand. It's been many things that we always have free will, and it's frightening, but it's also, other side of the coin, it's also incredible, because then we can do things that Krishna does not know what we're going to do. That's why what I understand. So it's always there, you know. Yeah, that's okay.
I know that's the party line, but then it gets into stuff with.
Well, it's not, that's the point. It's not the party line. It's just my understanding after going through all the thing, and I have no objections. I fight the party many times. I'm fighting the party right now, in fact. Yeah.
Well, and then it gets to this thing where everyone falls down. Everyone in the material world was once in Krishna Leela. Somehow it's been flipped to that, although Prabhupada says clearly in 7th canto, otherwise it is a fact that no one falls down. Somehow that's been turned to everyone.
Yeah, I actually haven't heard that one. It's a new one for me. You know? Yeah.
And wouldn't you think that there would be stories in Bhagavatam? I mean, it's spectacular. Like Yudhisthira in 7th canto, he says, I cannot believe that, you know, an unalloyed devotee, it's impossible for somebody to fall down from that position. That's Yudhisthira. But we're taking the position that everyone falls down from that position. Now, it occurred to me recently, wouldn't you think that there would be stories, because it's so spectacular, somebody falling down from the spiritual world, there would be stories after stories warning us about the possibility. Wouldn't you think?
I don't think. I'm talking again about myself here, you know, because even within people who are, even GBC secretaries and stuff I got, you know, they also have a variety of their opinions about this point. And some are on the side that no, we can't, and some, you know, we can, and all this kind of stuff, you know. So to me, no, I don't think about it that much. I mean, I think about it sometimes, but then I say when you start to get into it, I see, and I just was collecting. I think you even took my quotes for a time. And while in the Bhagavatam, I was just collecting citations, and at a certain point they started to get like redundant, so I stopped doing it and so on. But to me, it's But I don't know.
Isn't it interesting that Prabhupada says no one falls down? This is just in 3rd canto. This is in 3rd canto. 1, 2, 3, 4. I give you the references. 5 times he says no one falls, never falls. Isn't it odd?
Once promoted or what?
Huh?
The citations
would say unequivocally that no one falls.
No, I mean, are they like this one says that once one is promoted, he never falls, or those are the ones you're talking about, or did they say that nobody ever? Oh, because before it's talking about Jai and Vijay falling down. Yeah, they don't fall.
Right, that's 7th canto, but this is Prabhupada just unequivocally saying someone who goes to the spiritual world never falls down. Vaikuntha planet is one of the, you know, in the transcendental abode, the eternal abode. Someone who reaches
I see those. I've seen those citations, and they're strong, you know. But simultaneous, the other thing, for example, like Bhaktinandan Swami, when he was still, you know, properly situated, he said someone told him, Prabhupada said you can fall down from the spiritual world once you go back to Godhead. So he said he was shocked by that, because he said many places in Bhagavad Gita said the opposite in Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. So he said he went and he asked Prabhupada, he said, Prabhupada says, you know, he says that you can't fall down in the Bhagavad Gita. And he said, Prabhupada left, and he said, when it says it means almost never.
Right. But how does that turn into everyone? But how does that turn into everyone?
Oh, no, everyone. See, I never heard that. This is the first time I've ever heard that everybody falls down from the spiritual world. I've heard that in the party. I never heard that.
Really? Nobody says that.
I mean, I haven't heard that. I mean, myself. I mean, I'm in some ways I'm notorious as being a weird, eccentric among certain people. You know, other people I'm considered.
Okay. Normal. Anyway, it just came up in the purport.
I know. It's a good.
You know, meaning it just gets swept under the rug, and we just read it and we don't say anything. But I just thought I'd say something. That's all.
No, I thought you would say something, so I was waiting, and I just wanted to discuss it like this. Yes. Topic.
Anyways, the point's been made. I'll let you go. You're not on the hot seat anymore. You go on with other things.
Yeah. Other thing is too. I think almost everybody says that. What was it? One famous letter from Prabhupada, right? Whether we were Jivan Mukta or Jivan so and so, right now we are neither one. So whatever helps us, avoid the candy. Okay. Yeah. So okay. So going ahead,
you got to solve the problem.
Birthday party? Disappearance party.
How about Raj?
Oh yes.
On that point, the story that you told about Prabhupada saying that the living entity could fall down, I heard it explained that that's because the free will is there to fall down, just like it was in the beginning, before he fell down the first time. It's not like the free will to say no to Krishna or to refuse Krishna. It's taken away. It's always there. But practically speaking, the living entity never makes that mistake again.
Your connection's breaking.
Yeah. Hear me?
Yeah, now we hear you again. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was saying is that I heard that story on one of the Prabhupada memories Siddhanta produced. And in that story, I think it was Revatinanda or someone like that explained that same story and said, Prabhupada said that the free will is always there to leave the spiritual world and return to the material world, even after we go back. That free will is still there to make the same mistake again, but the living entity never makes that mistake a second time.
I won't do it. I can go on making so many more citations now. Yeah, because there's one after another, And what my wish is to support your position. But let's go ahead here with Bhakti.
You need to mute.
Mute. Okay, so Bhakti Vinod Thakur first. There we go. Push F5. Okay. That's Narottam. Okay. Again, it took me 3.5 hours to do all of this. So you're going to watch them whether you want to or not. Is this the one? Oh yeah, this is the one. This is Bhakti Vinod Thakur.
Can I?
Okay.
I just want to tie off one thing. Can I tie off one thing?
Okay.
No, really, I can't let it.
I'm losing your connection again.
In time. Okay, well, I'll just drop it.
Okay. We should have a whole international symposium on this. Yeah. Okay, so here we are then. Push F5. Swa Parshada Bhagavad Viraha Janipa Vilap by Narottam Das Thakur. Ramananda, I guess the best thing is to mute everybody at this point. Can you do that? Yeah. And then what will happen is we can all kind of sing along. Otherwise, we get this delay echo and so forth and so on. So this is some prarthana. It's, of course, the song we sing on today. I've heard Prabhupada wanted us to sing this song. Okay? So we'll all sing together. Not in the call and response, but together. Jaya Nilo Premadana Koruna Prachur Heino Prabhu Kota Gela Charya Thakur Kahamora Swarup Rupa Kahasanatan Kahadasa Ragu Nata Patita Pavan Kahamora Bata Juga Kaha Kabira Eka Kale Kota Gela Gora Nataraj Pasane Kutibo Mata Anale Pasibo Goranga Gunera Nidhi Kota Gele Pabo Se Saba Sangira Sange Ye Koilo Bilas Se Sanga Napaya Kande Narotamada Se Sangana Paya Kande Narotamada. He who brought the treasure of divine love and who was filled with compassion and mercy, where has such a personality as Advaita Acharya gone? Where are my Sarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? And the right we have pictures of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the ones we have, and the one below, he's there as a young man, as far as it was labeled, with his two of his sons. You know. Where is my Raghunath Bhakta and Gopal Bhakta? And where is Krishnadas Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? There's been a picture of Bhaktivinoda Thakur with his bead bag, and then also dressed as a magistrate. So this is how a respectable gentleman dressed at that point, with his watch fob and things like that. Yeah. So then, also the separation from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, putting the PowerPoint show together. And now it's interesting because in ISKCON, through our Brahmins, who may be great devotees or not great devotees, but that's their nature. There are so many records. The next copy of our ISKCON Ministry of Education magazine, Viplabaha, every 3 months, is going to be especially focused on academic. Try and make it into an academically acceptable issue that anybody can show to their university friends or professors, and they'll say, okay, this is a standard, university standard. We have articles by very respected PhD devotees and so on. Yeah. And so many things. And one of the things that Radhika, he's editing it, was mentioning, he wanted to mention especially, is the Bhaktivedanta Research Center, which Hari Soy Prabhu was the impetus for. And now one second generation, whatever devotee, a PhD fellow, is managing and taking it up as his mission. And Radhika said the collection of the different works by Bhaktivinoda Thakur and everybody else is just incredible, the resources. And so many things by Bhaktivinoda Thakur which were never even known before in Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Some of them, for example, were held in different institutions, and they were never allowed to be copied because they became like, a treasure that only we have this and so on. And now some of them clandestine copies being taken or whatever. But so as you start to appreciate what it was like at that time, in that era, and in many ways, maybe the surgery wasn't as good as it is now, but on the other hand, maybe there wasn't such a necessity for surgery in many cases. Yeah. So, let's go ahead here. Okay, being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all these devotees, in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottam Das simply weeps. So sometimes we'll have dreams of Prabhupada. Maybe we'll also have dreams of other acharyas or visions like that, visions, daydreams. And sometimes they're so real. You understand this is how it was, or this is how it is with Prabhupada. And we wish we could always be in that kind of association, that kind of consciousness. Yeah. So, of course, here's the mantra. And today's a good day to memorize it if you haven't memorized it. If you're aspiring to be on the level of a Goswami or Goswamini, to have realized the Paramatma, Vitatmana Prasantasya Paramatma Samahita, then you should know this whole Mangala Archana, the beginning of the songbook. Prabhupada was, my experience, Prabhupada was strict about that. The sannyasi should know this whole thing. So I'll close my eyes now. Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gora Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who is transcendental energy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is a strict follower of the Goswamis headed by Rupa Goswami. So this is a nice thing we could recommend on these holidays. For example, we're making up these PowerPoint shows. We have a collection of them now for different holidays and avatars. If you do this, then after 1 year, you've got quite a collection. I know on Radha, first time I started it was on Radhastami, and I memorized Radha Stava, the song, and I also memorized the Brahma Samhita prayers, and now they're my possession. And something's going to happen. As we're getting older, we see that our superficial memories are shaken, because our superficial body's falling apart. But if you go to the deeper body, the intellectual body, then we can start refreshing them and taking these things deeper. Maybe we have a few things already there, but we can start increasing our baggage, how much we're going to take with us. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was born, according to the great reference, where did I get this from? I got it from different sources. I think a desire tree. I didn't look at Wikipedia. It says he was born 1838 and left his body 1914. So if you knew that 1918, that would have been 48, 58, 68, 78, 88, 98, 1908, 19. So just 4 years short of 80 years old. 76 years old. So what was happening at that time? What's a little research I did. So April 8th, 20 to 23rd, Isambard Kingdom Brunel's paddle steamer, SS Great Western, makes the transatlantic crossing to New York from the Avon Mouth, England in 15 days, inaugurating a regular steamship service. So, the Bhaktivinoda Thakur was born. It was the first steamship service to cross the Atlantic on a regular basis. Somebody crossed it before with steamship power, but it wasn't fully steamship power. And these were paddle wheelers, big side paddles, kind of imitating the previous technology, which was paddles. So it was the first transatlantic steamship service started. So it wasn't primitive. He was coming right into an era where machines were prominent. June 28th, the coronation of Queen Victoria takes place at Westminster Abbey. So she was already an adult lady when Bhaktivinoda Thakur was born. It's interesting because probably remember was when he was a child, maybe like 1905 or something. That she came to India. She visited India, and we had a whole story about that. Funny story Prabhupada tells. Okay. And also Frederick Bessel makes the first accurate measurement of distance to a star. And we, of course, might dispute how accurate it is. But here's some idea of what the ambience was like. Different world. And people communicated it in a different way. People could remember things. People would go someplace and sit there and be there. And the actual physical environment was quite important. Now we can be surrounded by a miserable material environment or something strange, but we just put on our headphones, turn on the screen, and we go somewhere else, And maybe not such a in a horrible, horrible place in many ways. Kind of very inhuman. It's not very sensuous. This is the weird thing. People make this comment. The so-called social media are actually anti-social media. And the so-called increase in sensuous gratification is actually decrease in sensuous gratification. Yeah. You don't have a nice environment. Yeah. Okay. Then we go ahead here. And this is, it says, remembering his divine character. Okay. In an obituary about Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Sarad Charan Mitra, Calcutta High Court judge, wrote, I knew Thakur Bhaktivinoda intimately as a friend and a relation. Even under the pressure of official work as a magistrate in charge of a heavy subdivision, he could always find time for devotional contemplation and work. That's very interesting. Because I get to a certain point where I'm dealing with the Ministry of Education, coordination work, our NEOS work, and I say, okay, that's enough. It's just kind of like basically I do half a day. Then I want to enjoy, subtle sense gratification in the name of devotional service, looking up the history of Genghis Khan or somebody. Which, okay, I can use it in my preaching. Which, okay, to some degree. But it might be more effective if I did something else. Probably would. Okay. So, even under all this pressure, he always had time for devotional contemplation and work. Whenever I met him, our talk would turn in a few moments to the subject of bhakti and achinta beda beda, dvaita advaita vad, etc. So this person was quite educated, was making the obituary. The saintly work that lay before him. Service of God is the only thing he longed for, and service under the government, however honorable, was to him a clog. I'm not sure what that word means. Doesn't sound very elevated. Okay. His son, Lalit Prasad, recalled the following about his father, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, including his daily schedule. So I extracted the schedule. 7:30 to 8:30 p.m., take rest. So basically after Gaur Arti, take rest. 10 p.m., rise up. So that's 2 to 2.5 hours. Light oil lamp. All right. 4 a.m., take rest. Yeah. Take a little nap. 4:30, rise up. You got 3 hours now. Wash hands and face. Chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra jop. So you do his japa, pretty much looks like doing Brahma Muhurta. If you look in the Wikipedia, you can see a list of all the Muhurtas. And the one after the Brahma Muhurta is the Samudra, Muhurta. And again, as far as I understand, most of them from after midnight until like 10 o'clock in the morning or something are all auspicious or very auspicious, like that or something. And they start to become mixed, Yeah. So he was chanting, probably doing Brahma Muhurta, he made the adjustment. And of course we know that from 10 o'clock until 4 o'clock he was also reading, answering letters and doing other things. He would engage in philosophical argument with himself. Oh my God, what happened here? Okay. My robot went mad. Well, I didn't get mad, I hit the wrong button. 7 a.m., write letters, more in the mode of passion. 7:30, read. 8:30, receive guests or continue to read. 9:30 to 9:45, take another nap. 9:45, morning bath, breakfast of 1 pint of milk, a couple of chapatis, some fruit. Nice breakfast. These are hot, fresh chapatis, bananas. Yeah. 9:55, go to court in carriage. 10 o'clock, court began. 1 p.m., court finished. He'd come home and bathe and refresh. The rest of the magistrates would then, sit in chambers and then write their decisions, because of course he had to show on the basis upon which they arrived at the decision by which they were condemning some man to death and rewarding somebody else with, massive amounts of wealth, And but Bhaktivinoda Thakur, as we've heard it, he was so much in tune with the whole situation intuitively, and very quickly he understood what was happening, formed his judgment. Maybe not in all cases, but, I don't know, maybe it was in all cases, what I've heard. So he would be writing out his decision while he was also keeping one ear to what they were going on and saying. And his clerk said, "Sir, if you've already reached your decision, then why don't you just have them stop them, and give it?" And he said, "Oh, the lawyers have to earn their money," like that. So then he would go to work. So what else? We got here then. 1 p.m. court finished, 2 p.m. returned to office. And of course, that's when he was a GBC secretary then, or an IAH officer, and taking charge of the activities overseeing the activities of the Puri temple for the British government. Yeah. And of course, we know there was misappropriation of funds by the Raja, and he had to do so many very active things. There was enough job. It was more than enough job for one human being. Okay, so 3 to 2, secretary. 5 p.m. translation works from Sanskrit to Bengali. Then taking evening bath, meal of rice, couple of chapatis, half quart of milk, take rest. So very, very, of course we go on. The biographies of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and all these people, the biographies can be so extensive and every single part of them is so instructive. But that's just a couple of things I found, Yeah. Then we do Narottam, and then anybody else wants to make a comment here. Okay. Gadadhar. Yeah, we're doing Gadadhar Pandit. Yeah. Okay. Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar Panditadi Prabhura Nija Shakti Kansabara Charane Mor Sahasra Pranati. Gadadhar Pandit and others are the Lord's own energies. I pay thousands of obeisances to their feet. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, first chapter, verse 41. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Thakur comments on the words life of Gadadhar as follows. Srila Gadadhar Pandit Goswami is chief amongst the intimate devotees of Sri Chaitanya. He is the fountainhead of the entire Shakti Tattva and is thus present equally in Mahaprabhu's Leelas in Navadvip and in Nilachala. His childhood home was in Navadvip. Later, when he took sannyas, he went to live in Jagannath Puri, in a garden or tota by the seashore. Pure devotees who wish to enter into the Madhurya Rasa of worship of Radha and Govinda take shelter of Gadadhar Pandit. So, of course, is this, again, such unlimited, beautiful, intense stimulation. These festivals should really go on, for several days. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Disappearance Festival, this should be started on Monday, with Gadadhar Pandit, and we'll be finishing off today and entering into these things. And my experience is the Maha Mantra will guide us through all the Maya. Maya, Maya, watch out, keep on chanting. But once we're out of the Maya, then also it'll help us and guide us. We want to take the Maha Mantra, it will guide us in how to find our service, our position in the unlimited spiritual world, where we can make the greatest contribution. Okay. The incarnation of love, this is from the Gauraganadesha Deepika. The incarnation of love, who previously was the queen of Vrindavan, Radha, is now the beloved of Gaura, named Sri Gadadhar Pandit. Swarup Damodar himself indicated that he was Raja's goddess of fortune, the Lakshmi, who was previously the beloved of Shyamasundar in Vrindavan. She today has become the goddess of fortune, of love for Gaura, and is known as Srila Gadadhar Pandit. Lalita, who is also known as Anuradha, is Radha's closest friend and confidant. She has also entered into Gadadhar, as was shown in the play Chaitanya Chandrodaya. Okay. And we finished off here. We can all this is from the Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Sri Godruma Chandra Bhajan Upadesh. It's about 19 verses long, and if you actually sing the whole thing, it takes a long time. And of course, there's tremendous, collection of verses about our philosophy, culture, history, like that. So we can all chant together. Yadi te hari pada saroja sudha rasapana param hridayam satatam. Hari Kali Baba Mayam Bhaja Godruma Kanana Kunjabidum Dhanayovana Jivana Raja Sukam Nahi Nityam Anukshana Nasha Param Tajagramya Kata Sakalam Dipalam Bhaja Godruma Kanana Kunjabidum Lamani Jana Sangha Sukham Chasake Charame Bhayadam Purushartha Haram Harinama Shuddha Rasa Mata Matir Bhaja Godruma Kanana Kunjabidum Vada Yadava Madhava Krishna Hare Vada Rama Janardana Keshava He Vrishabhanu Sutta Priyanata Sada Bhaja Godruma Kanana Kunjabidum Vada Yamuna Tira Vanadri Pate Vada Gokula Kanana Punja Rabe Vada Rasa Rasayana Gora Hare Bhaja Godruma Kanana Kunjabidum Chalagora Vanam Navakanda Mayam Patagora Haresh Charitani Muda Lutagora Padankita Ganga Tatam Bhajago Durmakana Kunjabidum Smaragora Gadadhar Kela Kalam Baba Gora Gadadhar Paksha Chara Shenugora Gadadhar Charu Katam Bhajago Durmakana Kunjabidum Bhajago Durmakana Kunjabidum Bhajago Durmakana Kunjabidum. Okay, we could go on for a long translation. If you want your heart to be always absorbed in drinking the ambrosial mellows of the lotus feet of Lord Hari, then give up household life, which is full of quarrels and strife. That's materialistic household life. And just worship Lord Gora, the moon of Godruma's forest bowers. Material riches, youth, long duration of life, and royal happiness, none of these are eternal. At any moment they may be destroyed. Give up all useless topics of mundane conversation and just worship Lord Gora, the moon of Godruma's forest bowers. Oh friends, ultimately the pleasure to be had in the company of beautiful young women turns to fearfulness and distracts one from the real goal of life. Just worship Lord Gora, the moon of Godruma's forest bowers, with your mind intoxicated by the nectarian mellows of the holy name. And then skip to 17. Always worship Lord Gora, the beautiful moon of Godruma's forest bowers, and call out to the Lord, O Yadava, O Madhava, O Krishna, O Hari, O Rama, O Janardana, O Kesha, O Keshava, O beloved Lord of Radha. Just worship Lord Chaitanya, the moon of Godruma's forest bowers, and call out to the Lord, O Lord of Vrindavan forest, which lies along the banks of the Jamuna, O Lord of Govardhan hill, O son of the forest of Gokula, O giver of life to the Rasa dance, O Gorahari. Go to Navadvip, the land of Lord Chaitanya. Read and recite with great joy the wonderful pastimes of Lord Gora, Roll about in ecstasy on the banks of the Ganges, which are marked with the footprints of Lord Chaitanya, and just worship Lord Gora, the moon of Goduma's forest bowers. Remember the wonderful pastimes of Gora and Gadadhar. Okay. Remember the pastimes of Gora and Gadadhar. Become a servant of Gora and Gadadhar. Listen to the beautiful narrations concerning Gora and Gadadhar. Just worship Lord Gora, the moon of Goduma's forest bowers. We heard one devotee singing in Mayapur one time, and it just penetrated so much. It was Gorangera Nija Shakti Gadadhar Gosai. Gorangera Nija Shakti Gadadhar Gosai. Yeah. We worship Lord Gadadhar Pandit, who is Lord Chaitanya's own personal power. Okay, that's all we have. We could go on for even ourselves and for a long time more. Maybe somebody else can squeeze something in here. 12:07. So Prabhupada ki jai.
I have a question. It was interesting that you mentioned in reference to Bhaktivinoda Thakur about the schedule he had, and hardly slept, and just amazing what he could get accomplished. And then you were giving an example about yourself, like sometimes you just get overwhelmed. We all do, and we want to take a break. We just had the question the other day in Bhagavad Gita class, because it was at the verse Yukta Har Viharasha Yukta Chesa Chikarmasu. So it says work, eating, sleeping, work, and recreation. So one devotee asked, so how do you do Krishna conscious recreation? And in the purport, Prabhupada was just alluding a little bit. He said there's no such thing as like free time, because they're always engaged in Krishna consciousness. And he gave he quoted the verse about Maharishi Ambarish, using his hands to clean the temple and touch the devotees and smell the incense, all that. He's just always engaged. So he was saying that for a devotee, he has no free time. He's always engaged in Krishna consciousness. So the question is, what is Krishna conscious recreation?
Yeah, probably one part I'm always remember kind of in developing my logic. It was, very early in my temple. I'm stepping outside now, by the way. I'm getting recreation. Ah, my goodness, it's fresh air. Yes, I'm looking at Medical Center Parkway with all the ambulances going by. Yeah. You got to come and visit me here in Murfreesboro. You can all come for vacation. So there it is. Prabhupada says that the senses, they need fuel, They need it's like salt. You have to have some salt in your diet. But when you start eating too much salt, that's the problem, So the same way, when the senses are engaged in Krishna's service, then the recreation, the refreshment, the energizing, the pain, what's the word? There's a word like the gratification, which means pain. I don't work gratis. It comes naturally. And if we're not completely detached, then we may take that gratification. For example, myself, I like reading biographies. I like reading histories or something like that, Somebody else likes to work in the garden, so they'll okay. So that's the karma yoga, Maybe it would be better for the person working in the garden to read some biographies or something, But we understand we still have some attachment. And so my particular mind, body, and intelligence, it needs physical work. People keep trying to take away physical work from me. Oh, Maharaj, I'll do this for you. Maharaj, we'll do this for you. But I get sick. My body has to have hard work. I got a 25% sugar body, my senses, my mind. So that's what I understand. We relate our psychosocial situation, and then it's recreation. Of course, the other side of the point is that it's all recreation. But if we're not at the point where we're seeing it all as one, Achinta Veda Veda Tattva, then we make a balance. Okay, so much time for the kind of service which stimulates me and engages my mind and stuff, and other times for service which is difficult for me and it's difficult on my mind, to do a certain amount of this. For example, I'm a very kind of timid person because I can see because of my way I grew up and that kind of stuff. And so social conflict to me is like really, I take it very intensely. There's other people, they don't take it so intensely. Yeah, we're arguing. So what? That's life. For me, no, you're arguing. So that's what I understand is that in karma yoga, then we engage our senses and activities in service, which is useful to Krishna, but it could be more intense. But okay, we're doing this, and as we learn more, and maybe become more surrendered, but even just learn more, then we understand how it's all recreation, Yeah. Hi, Paul.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay. It was a stern silence.
Maharaj, thank you very much for your insight into both Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Gadadhar Pandit. Of course, these things, what I'm about to say is way, 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 way beyond the understanding of but the most elevated devotees. So Gadadhar Pandit is referred to as, among the most or the most intimate associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But in Chaitanya Charitamrita, particularly I suppose in the Antilila when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sort of going within and going through his madness of separation, it's almost exclusively Ramananda Roy and Swarup Damodar who are there to comfort him and sing to him and so forth. I don't recall reading that Gadadhar Pandit had that kind of involvement. So do you have anything to help clarify at all about that?
No, I was kind of thinking the same thing. A couple thoughts. One is that it says that Lord Chaitanya had, 4.5 intimate associates? Swarup Damodar, Ramananda Roy, Sikhi Mahidi, and Sikhi Mahidi's wife. And Prabhupada says, in Vedic culture, women are counted as half-person. There's another one we got to go through and put a footnote to. Yeah. So anyway, but we also don't see Sikhi Mahidi, showing up in those pastimes in Puri. Maybe it's because Gadadhar Pandit had taken a vow of Kshetra sannyas, and so he couldn't go to the Gambhira even, and he had to stay directly on the property or something of Tota Gopinath. That comes to mind. Another one is that one old nun, she was in one of these monasteries, which, the Catholic Church is decreasing the number of monks and nuns. So finally, it was one monastery, I think on one island or something, and they were trying to close it down again and again, but this one old nun, she just kept writing to the archbishop and the cardinal, and she kept it open, and finally she was the last person there, very old. And then the people were visiting, they say, "Oh, sister, we don't see you doing all the regular rituals and this and that stuff, And she said, well, God and I are like a very, very old married couple, We don't even have to talk much anymore. We understand each other without even talking about it. So maybe like that, the Gadadhar Pandit's association, because there are some pastimes, are described here and there. But that's the two things. Maybe he was restrained by the Kshetra sannyas. Another thing is, his pastimes were more internal,
And once when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered him to stay, and yet he left, then Lord Chaitanya was very pleased by that disobedience, actually.
Yeah. But he said, you've destroyed your life, and yeah, made all condemnation. But then he left him. Yeah. It goes on.
My very weak Kali Yuga memory says that it was Sikhi Mahiti's sister. Is that a possibility? Not his wife?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, your Kali Yuga memory is better than my Kali Yuga memory.
Oh, yeah. I wish.
Okay, stop here. And now we're supposed to see. But right, for me, these classes finish up at 12:30. So take a bath and cook a big feast for Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and it's nice when you can do that because you haven't got to think about consuming it. Oh my God, all the work you can cook all kinds of outrageous things, which is impossible for a human being to eat, and offer them to the Lord. Okay, so thank you all very much. Yes, sir.
Just on a personal note, Are you coming to the West Coast anytime soon, like to the San Francisco Theatre? Or...
Yeah. If you go to our webpage, jayarama.us,
okay.
We maintain a calendar which we update all the time, and it's easy to go to the newsletter and just write in there the link. But basically, we're here until end of August, then 2 weeks in Houston, 1 week in the Bay Area for the Rath Yatra. The first part will be in San Jose. The second part will be up in Berkeley. In a week in Boise, then we head across to Spain.
Qué bueno.
Sí. Yeah. Very interesting culture. Yeah. Okay, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. May all your volcanoes be small ones.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj.